Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bourbon Bites Whiskey Reviews with a gaming twist. I'm your host, Clifton, and welcome to probably the most anticipated stream, at least for me, of the year. This is my top 10 whiskeys of 2022. So I've been trying lots and lots of different whiskeys, whether it's a bourbon, rye, scotch, American single malt, all over the place this year. So I'm ranking my top 10 best bottles. If you're watching the replay, hello. Feel free to skip around down below as you can see my top 10. But if you're tuning in live, you get to sit in anticipation with me as we go through this list. Yes, Donnie, I know I was 3 minutes late. I uploaded my thumbnail as my background, so I had to do a quick switcheroo there, but I fixed it, so I apologize. But I'm so glad to see so many people here tonight already. It's a good crowd. I'm really excited for these bottles. I'm going to try to drink every single one of them, with the exception of one, which we'll get to later. But there's also a few runners up. I do have a few categories that didn't quite make my top 10, but are well-deserving whiskeys. So those will be given a shout out here tonight as well. But most of all, we're just celebrating good whiskey. So as I say hello to everyone, let me know in the comments your favorite whiskeys this year. It doesn't have to be your top one, but some of your favorites. I want to see a running list, see if some of them match up with mine. But let's say hello to a few folks here watching live tonight. I see Sugar Kitty was here very early. Five Fingers here as well. High five. Oh, first time seeing you, but high five to you. Sorry, I just think of, I just finished watching Wednesday, so I think of Thing when I see your username there. Bradley Walden is here. Hello, fam. Good to see you, Bradley. I don't. Are you the Bradley from my Discord? Because I don't feel like I've ever seen you on a stream. But hello, good to see you. Speaking of Discord, if you guys want to hang out there, that's our community where we do random hangouts throughout the week. We do some gaming sessions. We share our latest bottle pickups or our latest pours and cocktails at the bar. If y'all are interested in checking that out, you can go to bourbonbites.com. Scroll to the bottom. There's a little invite link to our Discord server there. Would love to see everyone here tonight on that Discord server. If you're new to Discord, it's basically like a message board / group chat. You can turn notifications on or off, whether you want to be sent some naughty dickle pics, as we call them. But it's just a great community of this whole this family. I want to call y'all family. We're family here tonight. But either way, good to see you, Bradley. Zopher's here. Can't wait. Off early. Looking forward to this live stream. Me too. I've been pre-gaming a little bit. I was watching Perry's stream earlier. Donner Pass Whiskey is here. Greetings, Clifton and everyone at work. So just dropping in to say hi. Well, have fun at work. I just got off work an hour ago. So, but good to see you. Steven Sussman's in the hat. Hey, all excited to see the list. Me too. I've been going back and forth on this list, but I think I'm very happy with where it's landed. Yeah. Donnie talking about me being late. I know. James Taylor's in the house. What's up, James? Hope you're doing well, man. Brandon is here. Good to see you, Brandon. I'm gonna be seeing Brandon at my local group's meetup this Sunday. Really excited for our gift exchange we always do there. Tony Bag of Donuts is here. Let's get on that bus. Of course, the Cliffy bus, which you can get some merch at bourbonbites.threadless.com. I know Donnie sent me a picture of him wearing his Cliffy bus shirt the other day as he killed a bottle of George T. Stagg. So if you want to be lucky and get a bottle of George T. Stagg, pick up that Cliffy bus shirt. Disclaimer, not guaranteed. Let's see. Whiskey Mountains, Adriana is in the chat. What's up, Adriana? Hope you're doing well. Speaking of Adriana, we do a really fun Dungeons and Drams gaming stream. If y'all are fans or not fans of Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of your favorite whiskey tubers, including Adriana from Whiskey Mountains, Bill from the Whiskey Dick, who's our dungeon master, Ed from the Raw Gut Review, Jason from the Mash and Drum, and our friend Molly from Hugging the Cactus. We do a Dungeons and Drams stream not every Monday night, because we're taking some time off for the holidays, but on Monday nights usually 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. So much fun. Y'all come hang out with Adriana and I. It's a ton of fun there. Alexander's in the chat. What's up, Alexander? Good to see you. Getting caught up. Adam Free is here. I realize I'm behind. Joe is here. What's up, Joe? Joe just sent me a bunch of samples of some really fun whiskeys. So look forward to a stream either on his channel or my channel. We're still figuring out the details of some really sweet whiskeys is all I'll say. Good to see you, Joe. Oh, you are that, Bradley. Cool, cool. Thank you, Donnie, for dropping the Patreon info. Yes, of course, if you guys are new or you're not new, I do have a Patreon. Starting at as little as $2 a month, you can support the channel. You can commit for a year. If like you want to come back this time next year and see what my top list is then, you can commit for a year for as little as $2 a month. But the higher tiers get access to some really fun hangouts, like our $10 tier, which is my Bourbon Megabytes. A lot of them are here in the chat. That's our after party hangout crew. We hang out every Thursday night right after these live streams on Discord in our private VIP chat room. So if y'all are interested, check out the link that Donnie dropped there. It's so much fun. And I appreciate y'all's support there as well. Dramhound is here. What's up, Dramhound? Good to see you. I saw you hanging out in Perry's chat a bit earlier. Let's see. Just make sure I didn't miss you. And Emily is here as well. Emily, good to see you. All right, we got a nice crowd tonight. 23 people in the chat already. Oh my gosh. If y'all are ready to kick off this list, I know we're already 8 minutes in. Hit that thumbs up button if you're excited to find out what my top 10 whiskeys of 2022 are. And also hit subscribe if you're just tuning in because you saw the stream randomly or someone gave it a shout out earlier. I know Women of Whiskeys gave it a shout out and Perry gave it a shout out. So if you're new here and you do enjoy the show, consider hitting. I don't want to say hit subscribe, but consider hitting subscribe down below and hitting the bell button to be notified when I go live. I'm here every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. So with that, y'all ready to get into some whiskey? I'm ready to get in my list. All right, so I need something in my glass. So we're just gonna kick it off. We're gonna start with my number 10 whiskey of the year, and this one it might cause some surprise / controversy or what. I don't know what it's gonna cause, but my number 10 whiskey of the year was actually someone else's number 1 whiskey of the year, and I do not disagree that this is a fantastic release. I think it comes in right at the right price point. It's a fun new expression. I think there was a travel retail exclusive only originally, but it was a fun new expression from this brand. So it's kind of hard. I got all my bottles sitting over here. My number 10 whiskey of 2022. Now, let me also set this up. Okay, I forgot to do that. I should have did this a little bit earlier, but my list might be a little bit different from other people's. Okay. I had a really weird year when it comes to buying bottles. Some of these were sent by brands, and I always, disclose that when I'm reviewing them on the channel. Most others I bought with my own money, or I got samples from you guys or friends in my local group. So I am basing this list on what I had the opportunity to try this year. That being said, there are some whiskeys that came out this year that I have not tried that I'm sure would deserve a place on this list. So I'm only including bottles that I've either bought or I've tried enough to know that they make my top list, or I've been sent a sample of them throughout the year. So almost all of these have been reviewed on my channel at some point. A couple of them I haven't had the opportunity to, but I have had the opportunity to try. So y'all don't come for me if your favorite's not on the list. I'm telling you, this is my list based on my favorite whiskeys this year. I also want to give a huge shout out to my Bourbon Terabyte patron. That's my $50 tier, which gets you access to a monthly subscription box that comes with samples of subscription box. Todd Cooper, who has been supporting this whole year and even previous years, he actually helped make this list happen. So what we did is we did 2 blind flights. So for him, it was a double blind. He didn't know what he was drinking. For me, it was just a blind flight where I picked what I thought might be my top whiskeys. Well, we did it blind. We did it 2 days in a row. Well, actually, it was like a Saturday and a Monday. And we picked this list. So a lot of these choices you may be surprised by, but they just blew us away blind. So I'm really excited to see where those come in. So I just want to get that disclaimer out of the way. Tell us. Okay. All right. So now that the disclaimer's out of the way, let's get into the list. My number 10 whiskey of 2022 is none other than Jack Daniel's Bonded Tennessee Whiskey. I actually just bought this bottle like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. We've already drank this much. Of course, I have sampled it out a little bit, but this is a new release from Jack Daniel's. They also had a triple mash release. I did buy a bottle of that just to make sure, some people in Discord are like, what? You think that's a top whiskey? Y'all, for like 30 something bucks, 100 proof, at least 4 years old, Jack Daniel's. It's not going to blow you away palate wise. I think it is a improvement on standard Jack Daniel's. I would use this in place of standard Jack Daniel's. I could drink it neat. I could drink it on the rocks. And I can drink it in a Jack and Coke. So I think it's the number 1 whiskey of 2022? Not for me personally, but as a new release, I have no problems with this. I think it's the right price, the right proof. And I love bottle and bond products, like I feel like it's like a kind of a stamp of approval. So I really do like this one because I know that a lot of people preferred the triple mash over this. But like I said, I did a little side by side for my palate, and everyone's palate is subjective. Everyone likes different whiskeys. For mine, this is a top release of the year. And this is actually, in my opinion, better than the triple mash. Have not compared them on the channel before, but if y'all want to see that, let me know. I can do a Jack Daniel's stream. But I see a lot of people in the chat like, oh, controversial opinion. Yeah. Bradley said I should have got the King of Kentucky to you a week sooner. It might have made the list. It might have, there's always so many things that I can't try that I really wish I could try. So yeah, I know there's a lot of things that probably made the list, and some would have made it if I would have tried them. Dramhound says the beauty of whiskey is that it's subjective. It allows us to enjoy what we enjoy and discuss in depth if so desired. It would be ridiculously boring if we all had the same palate. Well, I am going to pour a glass and cheers to that, Dramhound. I love that sentiment, and that's 100% what I agree. My favorite doesn't have to be your favorite, but it's what I really like this year. Brandon says, would you like a sample of the Jack Bonded that was a travel exclusive? Yes, I'll give you a sample of this so we can compare. That would be fun. Whiskey Mouse said, whoa, didn't see that coming. I think we had a bottle, but Nick drank the hell out of it. It's so drinkable. It's 100 proof. Yeah, and Donnie, I know we were talking about this the other night. He says, I actually prefer the triple mash over the Bonded. Jack 10 was banana pudding. Oh, Jack 10 is really good. Unfortunately, I only had a sample of it. And I think that came out in 2021, technically. I could be wrong. But I think Jack 10 came out 2021. I'm trying to only feature things that came out this year, with maybe a couple exceptions. But yeah, for me, on the nose, it's typical Jack. But I think it does lean a little more towards the like banana bread versus the fake banana, which I'm not the biggest fan of, like the fake banana flavor. But I think this, it's a great number 10. I think I stand by that opinion. I know Todd really liked it in our blind flight. But yeah. I see y'all I'm driving y'all crazy. Jack 10 was 2021. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm a fan of this one. I think it's worthy of the list. I should probably drink a little faster and talk a little less. How about that? Brandon says, does it mean you haven't tried the triple mash? Yeah. No, I did. I bought a bottle of it this week just to make sure, because I know some people were saying like, hey, like that doesn't compare. But for me, I think it does really well. So I'm a fan of it. Putting my phone do not disturb because like my phone's blowing up. Yeah, we need Cliffy faster. And I did do a little pre-gaming, but again, I did just get off work. So, all right. So Jack Daniel's Bonded Tennessee whiskey. It's my number 10 whiskey of the year. I gotta get through 10 whiskeys drinking tonight, so let's hope I announce my number 1. Because some of y'all know, 2 years ago, I did a New Year's Eve stream with a bunch of whiskey tubers. We counted down my top 10 whiskeys, but we actually only counted down my top 9 whiskeys because Drunk Cliffy, it hit New Year's. We all celebrated. We all like did ball drop, countdown, all that shit. And I forgot to announce my number 1 whiskey of the year. So that's not going to happen tonight. We are going to announce my number 1. Y'all don't let me end this stream without listing my number 1 whiskey. I don't want to make a separate video. Can I count on y'all to do that? Please let me not forget to announce it. Todd's in the house. Yeah, Todd, I was giving you a shout out earlier when I was talking about the process to coming up with this list. Your help was invaluable. You've really helped some of these make the list and some of these not be on the list. So thank you so much for contributing and being a part of my whiskey journey this year. All right, so y'all ready to move on? Because this list, it gets better from here. My number 9 whiskey of the year. This one is where Todd really comes in handy. Because when I did this blind, I wasn't feeling this whiskey. I don't know what it was, and it wasn't like the first time I've compared this whiskey. I've actually done a stream where I compared this with 2 other releases of the same whiskey from this year. And for some reason, it just wasn't hitting the spot when we tried it earlier for the blind flight. However, he made me give it another try and come back around to it, and it came back around. So my number 9 whiskey of the year, I think this year's release of this label are the best I've had so far. I think they've slowly been getting better. They started in 2020, I believe. 2021, they were a little bit better, kind of hit or miss. But 2022, they were all solid. So my number 9 whiskey of the year is Larceny Barrel Proof B522. So this is the B batch. It came out in May. It is 123.8 proof. I did a blind flight on my channel where I compared all of the batches for this year. This one came out on top. Slightly. There was a really close one. I think it was A that was super close. But this one came out on top. So I'm really glad that I revisited it because I almost wrote it off. I almost it doesn't deserve my top list. But Todd's like, no. Give it another try because he did it blind. It did really well for him. So I wanted to come back around to it, and I'm really glad I did. I think it's opened up. This one, speaking of open up, you got to let this one open up. You can't just pour this and just drink it. It doesn't work. But if you let it open up, maybe add a little bit of water, this one does it for me. I just want to see. Happy to help and grateful that you include me. Of course. Well, thank you again for being a patron, and thank all of you that are patrons. Y'all do make this so possible. Perry's in the chat. What's up, Perry? Y'all make sure to check out his replay earlier. Tyler's here. Did he know what was coming based on my description? It is really good. Adriana says, I haven't tried the C922, but really enjoyed the B522. Yeah, all of the ones this year were solid. I really did enjoy them. And again, huge shout out to Heaven Hill for getting me samples of them. They're ones that are hard to find. I occasionally see them pop up, but having a chance to try them before, I can see them on the shelves does make the difference with that one. Yeah, Joseph is here. What's up, Joseph? Good to see y'all. All right, so let's try this Larceny Barrel Proof. Like I said, for some reason this straight out of the bottle doesn't quite do it. I really have to let it open up, and that was my mistake when I did it blind the other night. I had just poured it, and to me, it's definitely different because you're not getting that rye spice that you typically get. Obviously, with the bourbon, a lot of times bourbon uses rye grain. Y'all know that, but with a wheater, it is hard to pull out some of those more nuanced notes because you're not getting the spice. You're like, why is this whiskey so different and so odd? But this one, it has that beautiful Heaven Hill. I always call it like a dessert shop or like a bakery. It's like a shop with a bunch of tarts and fruit pastries and all that realm of desserts. Every Heaven Hill product does that for me. That's why Heaven Hill is probably one of my favorite distilleries. Not probably. Heaven Hill is one of my top 3 distilleries for sure. So I really do like Larceny Barrel Proof. I'm glad I gave it another shot. And it deserves to be number 9 on my list. It does deserve a spot. Steven is here. He said leaked Cliffy's number 1 is Malort. You'll have to find out. I don't know. Stick around to find out. We're going to announce it in about 40 minutes. So we got some more whiskeys to get through before we get there. But if y'all have any predictions, get them in. Todd said I did have my samples poured for a good 20 minutes or so before we tried them, so it had plenty of time to open up. Yeah, I think that's what I was missing when we poured it that night. I had just gotten home from what did we do? That was Sunday nights. Oh no, that was Monday nights. That was right when I finished my Dungeons and Drams stream, so I had to quickly pour them and do that. But yeah, Todd, it definitely opens up. All right, so we've gotten through 2 whiskeys so far. We're doing okay on time. Let's move on to my number 8. Wow, Cliffy's already coming in. My number 8 whiskey of the year. Now this one, it took some time to kind of narrow down. I've tried some incredible whiskeys from brands that have sent me, not only sent me whiskeys, but they've also come on the channel and done a tasting with me. Well, this brand came on my channel twice this year and did 2 tastings. The first was their the basic lineup plus a couple of little extras. And then they sent me a whole flight of all their experimental casks. And I was just in heaven. I wish I could buy those bottles. Have not seen any of them except a couple, and one of which is my number 8 whiskey of the year. I love experimentation. That was the theme, I think, last year. A lot of the whiskeys I picked. My number 1 whiskey last year was Barrell Seagrass because I loved how funky and experimental and I don't know. I just love really weird out there whiskeys. And this whiskey is no exception. My number 8 whiskey of 2022 is Doc Swinson's Smoke on Water. Now, this is part of their Exploratory Cask series. This is a rye whiskey. It comes in at 104.2 proof. Indiana rye whiskey that is finished in peated Scotch quarter casks. So they sourced quarter casks from a very famous distillery in Scotland and put rye whiskey in it. It's such a crazy concept. And when they presented this to me for when we did the stream together earlier this year, I was like, there's no way that's going to work. I'm like, that's like rye whiskey is spicy. Peat is like smoky and like, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I do like a good peated whiskey, but putting peat and rye whiskey together just seemed ludicrous. However, this one really, really impressed me. I'm seeing y'all's predictions just now. That was a good guess, Fred. I noticed as I was saying funky, I was like, oh no, they're going to think it's Funky Drummer. Funky Drummer was a contender. I actually really did like Funky Drummer. I just rewatched my stream because today I actually bought this bottle today just to verify that it made the list. I rewatched my stream and I could tell that this is the one that I preferred. They had both in stock. Both of these were available to me. But yeah, I picked this up today because I'm like, I want to just give it one more try before I put it on my list. And I had a pour on my lunch break and it sealed the deal. I'm like, yeah, that's so cool. On the nose, let me hide that so it's not confusing. On the nose, this one is very unassuming. It's sweet, it's rye, it's got like a little bit of like earthiness there, but you wouldn't suspect what's coming once you try it. But once you give it a taste, it's like, first of all, it's a delicious rye whiskey from Indiana. I'm a huge fan of Indiana rye, but this has like a ring of smoke around it. And it's not like, it's a little briny. It's like a little more in that territory, maybe a little like sea salt, sea air, but it's like not like the funky medicinal kind of peat that sometimes you get. This one is really good. It's bizarre for sure. There's also the Backsetter Rye by New Riff. Yeah, that one has a little bit. I think this is next level. This one's like way more of the peat impact. But that's a good example. Backsetter is very similar in terms of that, the flavor wise, at least. I like it. You got to be a peat lover. I will say, if you're not a peat lover, another good part of this experimental cask series, or exploratory cask. I'm sorry, I said experimental. Exploratory cask. They have a muscatel finish. I know Pat from the Bourbon Noob in the chat is a big fan of that one. I loved that one on our second stream with Doc Swinson's when they came back on. That was my favorite. The only problem is I haven't been able to find it. I had my little sample, drank it all, and I have not been able to find it. So if y'all have any like feelers out for that muscatel cask from this, let me know, because it might have made the list instead. But that would be my recommendation outside of the this one, if you don't love peaty smokiness. But I'm a huge fan of this one, and just A+ for experimentation. That's really fun. Ryan's in the chat. What's up, Ryan? Hope you're doing well. You and Brandon, thank y'all for joining the Discord. I saw y'all were on there last week. Cheers, Cliffy. Thank you for all the great videos. We look forward to this every week. We are currently sipping Angel's Envy Rye. Pancakes. And that one is such a maple syrup sugar bomb. I reviewed it. I think it was, I did a video on it. It's been a while, but I reviewed that one. I'd love to revisit it. I actually just picked up a bottle of Angel's Envy Bourbon single barrel from Mission Wine and Spirits here in Glendale, California. So I'm looking forward to opening that and trying it. I think I might save that one for bottle to bring home to the family for Christmas, because Angels, it's kind of on brand. I don't know, trying to get people to drink whiskey that normally don't drink whiskey. So if I bring Angels into the mix, maybe they'll be on board. But hope you enjoy that. Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you both of you for the support throughout the year. Y'all are really awesome. Thank you, Joe, for reminding people. 31 people in the chat. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, and if you're watching the replay, hit the thumbs up. It does help the algorithm, especially when I'm doing streams like this where I'm counting down my top 10 whiskeys. I hope people find this video in the future and see, what were the hit whiskeys this year. I'm really proud of this list, and I hope y'all enjoy it. So, all right, let's keep it moving. Number 7. We're staying in the same realm here, y'all. This one, if you were afraid of the last one, you're not gonna like this one. But if you like a little hint of smoke and a lot of peat and a lot of char, this one's gonna be up your alley. My number 7 whiskey of the year goes to Lagavulin Offerman Charred Oak Cask. This is the latest release of Offerman. I just reviewed it relatively recently on the channel. I compared it to all the Offermans, actually. That was so much fun. If y'all missed that, check out the replay. This one is, of course, a single malt scotch. It is peated. But yeah, and it's, of course, Nick Offerman branded. This one, though, it amps it up. It gives that extra layer of char, that extra toasty kind of like really oaky, powerful, bold whiskey. I'm not gonna drink this one right now because I don't want to throw off my palate for the next, gosh, we got like six more whiskeys to get through. But yeah, this one 100% makes my list, and I don't think I would be surprised. If you're a fan of peat, you know this is a good whiskey. It's really good. I do wish it was a little more available, but I'm a really big fan of it. Tyler says, that charred oak cask is delicious. I did prefer last year's over the charred, but it's still so good. Yeah, I still preferred this one when I did it on the stream, but last year's was really, really good. I think for the price, I think it was like 100-ish. It's pretty pricey, but I do feel like that extra char, just for someone that loves the wood, I think the charred oak Offerman is it's where it's at. I'm a really big fan of this. Whiskey Mountain supports the choice. That is good to hear. Brandon is also a fan of it. Awesome. Would you buy it 100? Yeah, I would buy it, Jimmy John's. I think it's, it does come in at 46% ABV, which is like basically the same as the other Offermans. I do recommend it. I do think if you're not a fan of Lagavulin, you're not going to like this. I'll be honest. If you don't like Lagavulin 16, you're not going to like this one. I think this one is actually kind of, I would say on par with Lagavulin 16, but it is a little younger. It's 11 years old, but I think that extra char really amps it up. And I think as a special release, it's just a really fun one. So I think for a 2022 release, I'm very, very happy with this one. Tyler says $7 at Costco. Holy crap. I would buy that. Hell yeah. Yeah. So that's my number 7 whiskey. Like I said, I'll save myself from drinking that one because it's going to blow my palate for everything else. Let's keep it moving. Number 6. Now this one's not controversial. I think everyone thinks this is an obvious choice to put on a list, right? Water. I'm just kidding. Not water. Do need a water break though. My number 6 whiskey would have scored much, much higher. It is probably the best whiskey I've tasted all year. The key word is tasted. So this one is something that I had the opportunity to try. I went to a tasting that my one of my local groups, they're called the Virtual Tasting Society, but they also have some in-person tastings. It's run by my friend Vadim. By the way, if y'all are interested in virtual tastings, they ship the sets. They do tasting every week. They ship the sets in the mail. You just go to virtualtastingsociety.com. I think it redirects you to their event page. They also have local pickup if you're in the Southern California area. But yeah, they did a tasting with this brand and they had their rep there who's going to be on my channel in early 2023, maybe twice if the first one goes well. So I think he's the global brand ambassador for Campari. Don't correct. I mean, I'm probably wrong on that, but he's of that caliber. His name is Robin. He's a really fun guy. He's going to be on the channel for sure on January 19th to do a Glen Grant tasting, but he's going to come back hopefully later next year and do a really fun tasting with a few guys named Russell. So my number 6 whiskey of the year, I'm already seeing guesses. It would score higher if I could get a bottle, but my number 6 has to go to Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse Series Camp Nelson Warehouse C. I have a little graphic since I don't have a bottle. Here's a little. This is for the thumbnail for if anyone at Campari wants to clip this. Hold on, wait. How do I hold this? There you go. That's your picture you can use to promote that Cliffy has said that Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse is his number 6 whiskey of the year. Love this bottle. Like I said, one of the best things I've tasted. Yeah. And Brandon guessed it. He knew what was coming. Yeah. Water is clearly number 1. Yeah, right? It is. Water of life, y'all. Yeah, have any of y'all in the chat had a chance to try this? I'm just curious. I know I was very, very fortunate to have a chance to try it. I wish I had more of it. I wish I could revisit it. Unfortunately, I don't. So I'll just pretend that this is it. But it's honestly the best wild turkey I've ever had. Now, the only thing I did not directly compare it to, I did compare it to Russell's 13. Believe it or not, that same night I had side by side Russell's 13, and the single Rickhouse. This blew the latest release of Russell's 13 away. It literally obliterated it. It was so good, so rich, so dense. It actually reminded me of the Russell's 13, the original batch, which I have a bottle of. That actually made my list. I think last year or the year, I forgot when that came out, but I have not compared the single Rickhouse to the original batch 1 of Russell's 13. I wish I could, because they both are just exceptional whiskeys. So I had to put it on my list. I would be lying if I said that wasn't one of my top whiskey of the year. Rex Lugo hitting the thumbs up button. Well, thank you so much for hitting it, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for stopping in. Can you tell us what place it would have ranked if you had the bottle? I don't think I could have fairly put it as number 1, only because I know no one else could get it. I consider that like I mean, with the Jack Daniels, this is clearly not in the same caliber as some of those whiskeys, but I consider price, I consider availability, I consider the fact if I could find a bottle or not. So I don't think I could honestly put it in first place unless it was readily available, at least somewhat, you know? I just wouldn't feel confident with something so allocated, so rare, people charging thousands of dollars for it on secondary. I could not confidently put that as my number 1, but it might be top 3 is all I gotta say. But it's number 6 tonight because I could not find more of it. Whiskey Bear has both. Okay, you have my attention. Will I see both this Sunday? I have batch 2 of my. I haven't fully opened your samples, but that is great to know that, Joe. I just need to get Aaron's single Rickhouse and do a freaking Russell's flight. That'd be amazing. No, we're not glossing over. That's why it's my number 6 and not my number 1. MSRP $250. After tasting it, Fred. After tasting it, I would pay it. I know y'all know me. I'm cheap when it comes to whiskey. I have limits that I won't cross before trying it. However, again, that was the best wild turkey product I've ever tried. It blew my mind. And there's others that were there that can attest to how incredible it was. So I would buy it. Biking bourbons now. Sorry, the dogs are going crazy outside. They're not my dogs. They're someone else's dogs. Jimmy John said, yet I've wasted more money on far less. Well, that's a great point. Wonderful point. Don said, I missed the single Rickhouse by a few hours, but had a pour at Wild Turkey. Oh my gosh. Don, you'll have to tell us what you thought of it. You probably already did, but you'll have to tell us again what you thought of it. It's such a fantastic whiskey. I just couldn't confidently put it in my top 5, being the fact that it's so limited. All right, y'all ready to keep it moving? We got 5 more whiskeys to get through, plus a few honorable mentions we'll get to at the end. So, number 5. This one's a fun one. Let me finish this first. So this one, if you don't follow my podcast that I produced, I've ended it for now. It's on hiatus. But I have a Bourbon Bites podcast that's available on whatever podcast platform you're on. I did 50 episodes. I did an episode a week for 50 weeks. You can listen to the replay. It's still relevant. There are some news stories that are a little outdated, but I reviewed 50 plus different whiskeys on that podcast. This was one of them. This was actually sent to me by the brand. Had no expectations. I was like, I've heard of it, but like I don't really know much. And I still don't really know much. But I do know it is a damn fine whiskey. This one is a sourced whiskey. It's not disclosed where it's sourced from, although I do have a pretty good guess where it's from. It is from Kentucky. It actually has Kentucky in the name. But this one, something about this blend, a lot of different brands will source from this distillery, and it's always hit or miss for me. Sometimes it's like really banana, like Runts banana, like I said about earlier. Sometimes it's like a really nice like banana cake or like carrot cake. Sometimes it does really well. There are the brands that do like it release at different age statements, like 15, 16. This one I think is 7 years old, so it's a little younger. But it is probably one of the best expressions I've ever seen of this source whiskey. So my number 5 whiskey of the year is Kentucky Senator Now, this is the third release, John G. Carlisle, which is the name they gave this one. This is it's a brand that their availability is kind of weird. I can't find it out here. It is not unavailable. It's not unobtainium. It's obtainium, but it's not obtainium. It's obtainable. Obtainium is a different whiskey. But yeah, this one blew my mind. It is sourced, like I said, from a Kentucky distillery that makes sort of banana forward whiskey. But it is the best expression I've had on it in a long, long time. I wish I had more of it. I wish I could share it with you guys, because this one is probably one that you'd have to try to believe. And again, Todd will back me up. This one really outperformed a lot of other whiskeys on our blind flight. Yeah, it's so well blended, even though it is a little bit younger. It's 7 years old. It's cask strength, I believe. It's high proof. It's just a fantastic blend. The folks over at Kentucky Senator outdid themselves with this whiskey. I would buy a bottle if I could find it. Does it not have Fred said, does it not have a weird mash bill? You know what? I'll have to double check. I reviewed it several months ago for the podcast. It could be a unique mash bill, but I just have a good feeling that it's from a distillery that starts with a B and ends with the N, which there are a lot of those in Kentucky, but one particular one that has that flavor profile. So good. This one's sweet. It's in the realm of like a Heaven Hill kind of flavor profile. It does have a little of the banana, but it is a really fun, fruity, oaky, just it's so drinkable. And I would recommend this to anyone. So that is my number 5 whiskey of the year. Todd said it was his first time he had it and it was enjoyable. I'd get a bottle. I agree. And I think, I had limited releases to try this year, which I kind of hinted at it earlier, but like this year's been tough for me. I went an entire quarter of the year like without a job. I got laid off in May. So my budget was slashed until September. I could not buy anything. Not to say I didn't buy anything, I kind of spent that unemployment check. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. Anyways, but yeah, so I went for a period without buying bottles. So I did miss out a few releases this year. However, I think I've made up for it with media samples and things you guys have shared with me. So again, forever grateful for not just you guys, especially you guys, but also the brands who have chosen to partner with me. It does mean a lot that brands are reaching out and saying like, hey, do you want to try this for us? Like, just need an honest review. And that's what I do. And this one, honestly, top 5 whiskey of the year. So Richie Z's in the house. I think if I missed you earlier, I thought I saw you earlier, but I might have not read your chat. So good to see you, Richie Z. Richie Z's been here for a really long time as a supporter of the channel. So I'm so glad to see you here for this big night. All right. We're in our top 5 now, y'all. We're moving along well. I'm not plastered. I'm not on the floor yet. So we'll keep it moving. By the way, thank you everyone that's watching live. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button and please, please, please subscribe. I'm here every Thursday night, same time. Have some really fun streams planned in the new year. This, I think, will probably be my last official stream of this year. I'm flying home back to South Carolina next Wednesday night, so I probably won't have the opportunity to go live on Thursday. And then the following Thursday, I'm traveling back to California. So timing-wise, unfortunately, I probably will not have another live stream this year. So this is the last one of the year, but I'm so glad to be celebrating these incredible whiskeys. So thank y'all for watching. I promise I'm coming back in the new year. Have some really fun streams lined up, but this is probably the last one of the year. So hit that like button. The Cliffy bus is warming up for sure. All right. Those are way too many letters in that word, Jimmy Johns. This is about half those letters is what I'm thinking. That's all I'll say. All right. Y'all ready for my number 4 whiskey of the year? This one's fun because I haven't reviewed this on the channel at all. This is actually a very, very recent pickup. And I'm so glad that I had a chance to buy it because this came out earlier this year and I have not seen it, which is really freaking weird because it's a California brand. I'm like, why am I not finding this bottle? There's other expressions. There's the standard releases that are very popular and they're very well liked. But the cask strength releases that just came out this year were really hard to find. So when I found them, I bought all 3. There were 3 releases. One was a bourbon, one was a rye, and one was an American whiskey. And I really expected the American whiskey to be the winner. But comparatively, with Todd's help, we actually ranked one of the other ones on top. So this one is probably the biggest shocker, being a new bottle. But I'm really, really excited for it. I'm going to do a full stream of this early next year for sure, of all of these releases. But I want to share the one that made my top 4. So my number 4 whiskey of 2022 goes to Redwood Empire Pipe Dream Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey. So this one. It is the Cask Strength release. Now this one's fun because it's a blend of Kentucky bourbon, Indiana bourbon, and Tennessee. Am I wrong? Let me check. California, Indiana, and Kentucky. Sorry. California, Indiana, and Kentucky bourbon make up this whiskey. It is aged at least 4 years, so there is some younger stuff in it. But oh my gosh, this one freaking blew my mind. I was not expecting it to do so well. Right? Yep. Y'all got it. Bourbon noobs in the house. I gave you a shout out earlier. Good to see you. Steve Rickhouse is also in the house. Cheers. Hope you're well. Oh, cheers, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you in a while, but good to see you. Brandon says, "Are you bringing that on Sunday?" That's a great idea. I'll bring all of these on Sunday. Don't drink them all. Save some for a stream, but I'll bring them. That's actually really good. Thank you for the reminder, Brandon. I'll bring that. Don says, "I'm waiting for Bourbon Bites to end the stream after unveiling his number 2 whiskey of the year and leave y'all hanging." Oh yeah, y'all got to come back after the new year for that. I'm just kidding. Only kidding. Igloo says it's not that one. Okay, again, it's not confirmed. I was just guessing based on the mash bill. I thought it was the first one, but they couldn't confirm anything with me, so I have no idea. But I will say it's really dang good. So take that for what you will. I thought it was, but have no info on it. Okay, Igloo says it's... Well, Igloo, the thing with that is, though, it's 7 years old, I believe. So I don't know if this release could be that, but could be a custom mash bill. There's some digging I need to do there, but thank you for the info. That's super helpful. Cohen's got some guesses for top 3. Tyler prefers Lost Monarch, but Pipe Dream was good too. Yeah, let me pour a little bit of this. Like I said, I haven't had this on the channel yet, but I'm really excited to do a full stream of it. Bourbon Bill says, "Looking forward to the list." Well, you came right in time. We were about to get into our top 3. Also, hi. I feel like first time seeing you in the chat, but good to see you. So I'm getting the Gatsby. Oh, Gatsby. I'd love to try that. Oh, does Patrick or does Brandon have a sample for me? I think we talked about that. All right. So this is the Pipe Dream Cask Strength Bourbon. Oh my God. These are so good. I think, what were the price? I think these were like 80 to 100. I forget exactly what I paid for it. And I was a little worried because I was like, oh my gosh, a 4-year-old bourbon for $100. I'm like, what the heck? But then I tasted it. I'm like, there's definitely some older whiskey here. It's at least 4 years old. So that means the Indiana or the Kentucky bourbon is most likely pretty freaking old. And it has such a nice oak backbone. And y'all know I love the wood, as I said earlier. It's such a... I would buy... This would be a regular on my shelf. If at the price I paid for it, I think it just stands up as one of the best whiskeys in its price point. Yes, I would like it to be a little bit higher age statement. Yes, I would like them to put a little bit less of the younger whiskey in it, but... But I think it's fantastic. Fantastic pour. Like I said, I'll do a full stream early next year. I'm getting into that one, doing tasting notes and all that. But that's a little preview of that one. I'm really excited to try all 3 of them side by side. By the way, we got 15 minutes left. We got 3 more whiskeys to rank. Let me see if I can pull up this info here. Yeah, there we go. Just a reminder that we do have a Discord server. So bourbonbites.com, click the link down at the bottom. There's a link to our Discord server. It's literally just for this community. All of you guys can hang out all the time, talk whiskey, talk video games, talk whatever you want to talk about. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that, but also actually wanted to buy some time so I can update this card. because from now until the end of 2022, just for you guys that are watching the stream, not anyone else. I mean, you can share it. I don't care. But just from now until December 31st, 2022, I am going to be offering my Bourbon Bites Challenge coins, which check the scrolling banner down below. If y'all have not seen these are really cool. They're metal. They are they're pretty hefty. They fit over the top of your Glencairn. Let me show you if I don't drop it. Cliffy's in the house, by the way. Hello, y'all. Fit on the top of your Glencairn to keep your whiskey. Let it aerate a bit. Let it kind of mellow in the glass before you have a chance to try it. The front, of course, has my logo here. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. There we go. Come on. It's hard to show this because it's reflective, but it has my Bourbon Bites logo, and then the back has this really fun no mash value. It's a tribute, of course, to old arcade tokens, no cash value. I'm basically the cost to ship these has gone up significantly in the past year, so I'm discounting these down to $15 just for the rest of the year. To my personal Venmo, because Venmo takes the fees. If you guys send $15 to my personal Venmo, message me or email me. Message me on Instagram at Bourbon Bites or email me contact@bourbonbites.com with your mailing address and your Venmo name. I'll get this shipped out to you. Like I said, I'm basically for $15, like with shipping and everything, it's basically breaking even on them. But I just wanted you guys to have an opportunity to get these. They're really cool. They're metal. They're heavy. And I know y'all in the chat, those of you that have them, I know y'all like them. So send your praise. I'll leave that up in the chat for now. But Audra says the best coins. Ooh, challenge coin. The coin looks so, it's not small. It fits over your Glen, I promise. It's not the size of a token. It's really big. Joseph, I realized that, and I thought I messaged you. If I didn't, I'm gonna send you one. I owe you one. So Joseph, don't worry about paying. I owe you. I'll send this to you. You did say that, and I meant to give this to you. So Joseph, you get one on me, but everyone else, $15 is really just pretty much break even. Like I get a couple bucks off of it, but it's pretty much break even. So I want to give you guys through the end of the year. That's the deal. So oh, thank you so much, Dover. Best challenge coin around. I don't want to say that, but I'm pretty freaking proud of it. I love it so much. I use them all the time. John, y'all are so nice. She said it definitely fits over the Glen, and it's honestly the nicest quality challenge coin. Oh my gosh, y'all. I didn't pay them. I promise I didn't pay them. Y'all are awesome. But yeah, I'll leave that info down there. It's just Clifton MCDNL. The vowels, not vowels. Consonants. Wow, Cliffy's here. Consonants? That sounds like I haven't used the word consonants since I was a child. I always say vowels. Anyways, wow. Okay. Hashtag. No, I did not pay them. They pay me, actually. They're just kidding. I mean, they are supporters. They are Bike Club members, so I love y'all. Seriously. All right, let's keep the whiskey train going. Keep the Cliffy bus going, as we say. Wow, it is hit hard. If y'all don't know, Cliffy is my drunk name, and Cliffy's in the building. You can kill a squirrel. Yeah, definitely. Don't recommend that. But anyways, wow, that was a sidetrack tangent, but I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all ready for my top 3 whiskeys of the year? I'm ready for them. All right, number 3. This one's already been predicted several times tonight. I don't think I've ever made a list of my top whiskeys and not had this specific label included. It is my favorite label that comes out every year just on a regular basis. I buy every batch of this I can buy, or that I haven't been sent by the brand. I will say this brand does treat me well, and they do send me these batches. That being said, I would 100% buy all of these batches on my own if I had the opportunity, or if I didn't already have a bottle. In fact, I've bought several backup bottles of this brand. Several. Like literal multiples of backup bottles of this brand. So, as you know, it's one of my favorites. This year, my number 3 whiskey of the year goes to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B522. Now, as with Larceny, I did a blind flight earlier this year, compared all the Larceny or Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs side by side. This one came out on top. I don't know what it is about this batch, but it's just so balanced. It's not super spicy. It's everything I love about Elijah Craig. Again, that bakery dessert, not dessert, but like pastry shop kind of note. Oh my God. It's if the Larceny had a little bit of it, this is full on, just an incredible pour. Just want to get caught up because I almost missed a super chat. Tony Bag of Donuts says the Cliffy bus is coming and everybody's drinking. I don't know why I'm singing Merry Christmas, buddy. Oh yeah, the Cliffy bus is coming and no, I'm not singing. Okay, that's all y'all get. Pay for my OnlyDrams for exclusive singing content, or just check out my old YouTube channel, which some of these guys know. Anyways, moving on past that. Here come 4 high proof shots in 9 minutes. Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. No, I will not miss my number 1 whiskey of the year. ECBP. It was not C922, but that was a close one on this one. This one in the C batch did so close. Just depends on the day. But for me, yeah, I did drink that down a lot. ECBP does not stick around at my house, is all I got to say. Oh, thank you, Emily. She says those are awesome coins. Well, thank you. Yeah, if y'all are interested, I'll leave that up down there for a bit. So if you missed it, just go back to the replay. You knew there had to be an ECB. Yeah, you guessed it earlier. I was like, should I show that earlier? I'll show it. Yeah, it's really good. Steven says, I like the B batches are like the only ones I can find. Well, that's a really good one. Tom Flanagan is in the house. Tom, how are you? Oh my gosh, it's been so long since we've chatted. We need to catch up. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Tom has been a patron of the channel for a long time and a good friend of mine. It's been far too long since we've chatted though. So I hope to catch you next time you are in the LA area. Message me. You have my number. So good to see you, Tom. Thanks for tuning in. For my top 3 whiskeys of the year. Yeah, number 3, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I mean, this has got to make the list. It's literally my favorite label that I ever buy every single year. Thanks for dropping it. Yeah, that's my link tree. You can go to bourbonbites.com. It should take you there. But thank you, Joe, for that. Oh my gosh, this ECBP. It's heaven. Like, honestly, I could, if I had to pick, that question, I could get stranded on a deserted island. Like, what one whiskey would you drink? Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Someone asked me that like 3 or 4 years ago. And I said Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Because back then I was like, oh, I can pour it over, I can water it down, which is still true. But back then I was a little more hesitant about high proof whiskey. So I was like, oh, I can every time I drink it, I'll just add water to it or, add ice to it. You still could, but I drink it neat because I freaking love this whiskey. I know Chris is rushing me along. Yeah, ECBP B522 is my number 3 whiskey of 2022. That's a lot of numbers. All right. I'm doing small pours here. Mark says ECBP is my jam. It is heaven. ... Hill. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really great. Yeah, I was saying hi. Oh, he's New York. Oh, I didn't realize you were in New York now. Awesome. Hope you're doing well. I'd love to hear about that opportunity. That's cool. I know you're kind of like doing some really fun like side projects for a while. So I'm glad to see maybe you found something like, we're not saying a little more, but like something like, I don't know what I'm saying. Cliffy's here. But yeah, now I'm excited to hear about what you're up to now. All right. So y'all ready for my number 2 whiskey of 2022? Lots of 2s. The number 2 of 2022. This one is a comeback story because when I reviewed this whiskey, I didn't love it. Honestly, I thought batches from previous years were a lot better. And some of them were. Some batches from like 4 years ago were really great. However, doing this blind proved me wrong. And I am really, really surprised that this one came back. Y'all have seen me review this. Y'all have seen a flight that I sent Women of Whiskeys, our good friends Michelle and Kathy Joe. I sent them this flight as well. This is a release that came out this year, but it's just always, it was in my top 10 last year as well, but last year's release. But my number 2 whiskey of the year. So my number 2 whiskey of the year goes to, I'm giving y'all time to get your guesses in. Y'all already know what it is. Remus Repeal Reserve Batch 6. So, yeah, Steven got it. I saw a lot of good guesses here. There's some really good guesses here. But, Tim said the B batch is his favorite ECBP. Yeah, me too. I'm glad to see someone else feel that. Remus Repeal Reserve Batch 6. This one really surprised me. I didn't fall in love with it at first. I was like, oh, this doesn't compare to the others. I was a little thrown off by the fact they put 2% of the oldest whiskey in here, like 2% of a 17 year. I'm like, wow, thank you. You're so generous. But now that I've taken a step back, got over my little tantrum that I threw, I think it's a solid Fantastic whiskey. It has gone up in price. It's a little pricier now, but it's really, really good. I would buy another bottle of it. If you love older whiskeys that aren't quite like proof bombs, this does come in at 100 proof. I think this one's such a solid pour. And every one of these releases is a worthy buy. They haven't let me down yet. Yeah, this has like a vintage kind of note, like an antique quality to it. Tastes kind of like a dusty attic, but in a very, very good way. Yeah, it's not the proof bomb that I've loved in these other whiskeys, but it is a really good pour. So it's my number 2 of the year. One of the best things I've tried, and I would absolutely buy another bottle if I found it. All right, 2 minutes left. We do have some runners up because I didn't have room for every bottle that I love. That's basically what I'll say. So we do have 3 runners up. These all are the best in their category. So this next one is my favorite Irish whiskey release this year. Unfortunately, I could not find a bottle of this. I had the opportunity to buy it from like Ireland. I have it imported and all that stuff. That's a lot. So I have to give credit to my friend Stacy H over at 4 Leaf Whiskey. She provided me a sample of this. We reviewed it on my channel for a special Irish whiskey night. My favorite Irish whiskey of 2022 goes to Gold Spot. I think, this release, I do think, that and Blue Spot are very, very close, but it was a very limited release. This is why I can't get it. It's high proof. It's age stated. It's just a really good Irish whiskey. So that's my favorite Irish whiskey I tried this year. My experience with Irish was very limited this year. So it was hard to make my top 10 list, but I do want to give it a shout out because it was the best Irish I tried all year. So Gold Spot gets an honorable mention. Let's move on to my favorite craft whiskey. This is a fun category. So this whiskey actually almost made my top 10. I'll be honest. There was one whiskey that moved this out of my top 10, and it was that Russell's Reserve, a single Rickhouse. I wasn't going to put the Russell's Reserve single Rickhouse until I realized I have tried it, and I do agree that it was one of the best things I tried all year. So it unfortunately slightly bumped this whiskey out of my top 10. However, it absolutely deserves a place on my best whiskeys of the year. So I'm giving it the title Best Craft Whiskey of 2022. This whiskey has consistently blown my mind. Every time I try it, even blind. In the blind flight I did with Todd, this actually was my first place. Not that we did 5 and 5, so it was my first place on the second night. And I just don't know what it is about this whiskey, but every time I try it, it just freaking impresses the heck out of me. So my favorite craft whiskey of 2022, I've had these folks on my channel before, or their master blend. I think it's master blender or founder, whatever. Check out the replay. My number 2, or Cliffy's in the house. My favorite craft whiskey of 2022 goes to Filibuster Single Estate Wheated Bourbon. Now, this is a single barrel. Mine is at 111.10 proof. This is really fun when they give you all the info here on the back. It is a Virginia distillery, 4 years old, 2 months. Some fun info about the air-dried barrel there, 120 proof. I mean, every time I try this, it blows my mind. For a craft distillery only 4 years old, they are absolutely just knocking it out of the park. And they have a few other releases, but this is the one that almost cracked my top 10. If I had a top 11 whiskeys of this year, this would be on that list. But unfortunately, I do only have a top 10. So best craft whiskey of the year goes to Filibuster. Congratulations to Sid and all the folks over there. I really do love this one. You know what's funny? Like when I first tried this, I told Patreon or on Discord that the patrons we were hanging out, and I was like, are they lying? Like, this is too good to be a 4-year-old Virginia whiskey. It tastes like a really good MGP bourbon. It's like flavor wise, it's like right on track with like MGP Indiana bourbon. So I was like convinced, like, I'm like they are not making this, but they are. I interviewed their team, and yeah, they make this. It is fantastic. I'm excited to see what they do next. I'm excited to find this locally. Not sure if it's quite out here in California yet, but oh my gosh, Filibuster is just killing it. So they are my favorite craft whiskey of 2022. All right. So I'm realizing pouring and I'm not drinking. We're a little over time, but we got one more category. This one deserves another glass. Let's move that out of the way. Before we announce my number one whiskey of the year, I gotta give a shout out to my favorite store pick / whiskey group pick of the year. This one, I'm a little biased. You know, like when you do your first barrel pick, that always holds a special place in your heart, right? Well, this year I participated in my first barrel pick. I've never done one before. I know a lot of YouTube channels do it, but I'm a smaller guy out here in California. We don't have access to them very often. So a very, very good friend of mine, a member of my Dungeons and Drams squad, posse, whatever you call us, invited me to be on a pick with them. And it was virtual, of course. We tried samples, but I fell in love with this barrel. I fought for it. Jason wanted another barrel, but I fought for this barrel. And so did the few others that were on the pick. We saw something special in it. So my favorite barrel pick of the year goes to our friends over at Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, Scott and Jason. Great guys. Check out their channels. Jac-Man. Now, they took on the video game. Oh, it's hard to see because the green screen's kind of throwing off Pac-Man, but they took on the gaming theme because I was a part of this pick and it was a part of my pick. So I really appreciate them helping me be a part of it, as well as Brett and Adam that helped us do this pick. But yeah, this was such a fun experience. It's one of the best whiskey memories of my life. So yeah, this is so good. And I gotta pour some of it. I'm like, I can't do my top 10 whiskeys without being my favorite thing that I ever done all year. My favorite thing that I ever done. Wow. The South Carolina comes out in me when Cliffy's here. The Cliffy bus has a South Carolina license plate. How about that? Yeah. Speaking of South Carolina, Tim says Russell's Reserve single barrel liquor by the lake from Lake Wiley in South Carolina. Is that what you're drinking right now? You know, Lake Wiley. You saw that came out. Yeah, I literally live. I'm from Rock Hill, so Lake Wiley is like very much on my radar. They have a Russell's pick. You know what? I'm gonna be back in Rock Hill in a week, so if they still got that pick, I might have to pick that up, Tim. But yeah, anyways, yeah, store picks are amazing. Y'all support your local liquor stores. The folks doing these picks are most of them are passionate whiskey people. They know what they're picking, and I was so glad to be a part of my first pick. Man, such a fantastic Jack. That's so different than other Jack Daniels picks I've had. It's oaky. It's, you know, it leans more in the oak. None of the banana. It's so funny. I've never had a Jack Daniels that doesn't have the banana. This has none of it. This has the peanut butter, peanut brittle. Oh, so good. I mean, it would have been on my top 10 list if I didn't have some bias. So I made it a runner up because I have some bias. All right. Now that we've gone through the runners up, we're going to end the stream. Bye, folks. Just kidding. Don't leave. Don't leave. Don't leave. That was me 2 years ago. We got to announce our number one whiskey of the year. But before I do want to say thank you so much for all of your support this year. Whether you are a Bite Club member, which is my YouTube membership, several of you are in the chat tonight. Whether you are a Patreon supporter for as little as $2 a month or up to $100 a month to be my bourbon daddy. That slot's still available, by the way. If y'all are looking for a bourbon baby, you can be my bourbon baby. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that supported me on Patreon, YouTube memberships, super chats, Venmo donations. Looking at you, Swan. Challenge coins, just general messages of kindness and follows and subscriptions on YouTube. Y'all have made this probably one of my favorite years of making videos. We did a podcast. I never thought I'd be a podcaster. Did 50 episodes of a podcast. I'm really freaking proud of that. And I've done these live streams almost every week this year. So I do have to say thank you to everyone that made that possible. Whether you're a subscriber, a patron, a Bite Club member, someone that's bought my merch once, someone that's said hello to me in public, whoever you are. I just want to say thank you so much for making this one of my favorite years as a whiskey tuber. So now that the sappiness is out of the way, y'all ready for our number one whiskey of the year? I think y'all are. Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to get caught up on the chat. Wow. I'm just the Russell's pick beat. Whoa, that's cool. I'll try to see if I can find it. It'll probably be sold out, I'm sure. Yeah. It's been an epic year for our community. You know what's funny? I just heard a door slam outside, and it reminded me of that time that the gas station exploded next door. That's a memory from this channel. Okay, the gas station didn't explode. Those that were watching it live, it was a live stream. A car literally blew up at the gas station next door, and I saw the flames, and it was a whole ordeal. Just catch 3. I forgot what stream that was, but that was the most exciting moment of my channel this year. But just in general, this has been a really fun stream. Or fun stream. This has been a fun stream, but I mean fun year. All right, we're a little over time, so thank y'all so much. I see y'all support. I love all of y'all. I really love the channel. I appreciate all the killer content. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, so number 1 whiskey of this year. Another whiskey that I have not reviewed on this channel yet. I like how y'all are reminding me to not forget. Oh my gosh, the leak at the chemical plant. Oh yeah, I drove through like a cloud of like toxic chemicals where they like shut down schools because it was in the air. Yeah, I almost died. These guys know. I did that for you guys. All right. Number 1 whiskey of the year. We're getting to it. This one was provided to me very, very recently by the brand. I'll say this, based on previous releases of this bottle, I didn't have high hopes. I liked it. I've always liked this whiskey. I never thought that this whiskey could be my number 1 whiskey of the year, let alone in my top 10 whiskeys of the year. So when I tried this one, I had to blind it. I had to blind it for myself and blind it for Todd, which we've mentioned several times. He helped me make this list. This one came in first place for me and Todd. Double blind for him. He had no idea what was in the mix. Blind for me. I had no idea that this was my top pick. I am really, really surprised by this one. I've been trying to buy a bottle of it before I said this in case this video went viral or something and like everyone bought up the number 1 whiskey that Bourbon Bite said of the year. But I can't find a bottle. It's not quite here yet. It is available. I double checked. This is a whiskey that you can buy in several markets. It's just not quite in California yet. I do hope it shows up soon because I will be buying multiple bottles. In a blind flight, on its own, this one has just blew me away every time. My number 1 whiskey of the year doesn't even have this year on it. This whiskey's from the future, but not really because it's actually out yet. It's already out. But my number 1 whiskey of 2022. Let me say that again because I'm pretty sure I said whiskey. My number 1 whiskey of 2022 goes to Barrell Craft Spirits New Year 2023 Bourbon. Y'all, I'm not kidding. I tried this as soon as I received it, expecting it to be a really good barrel. I try a lot of really good barrel products. I instantly knew that this had to at least be blinded to be part of this flight. This bottle, I don't know what magic they did this year. This is a blend of Tennessee, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Wyoming, New York, Texas, and Maryland whiskey to make up this bourbon. 113.54 proof. Whatever they did this year defeated every other thing in a blind flight. I am surprised. I am blown away. I have to get a bottle of this as soon as I see it. I recommend you guys do it too. Todd, if you're still here, this one is a banger. We talked about it for a while. I'm getting one if I can find it. Yes. I was like, yo, what? The new year? Very interesting. Oh, yeah? Wow. What a curveball. I agree. I had the 2022 New Year. I liked it. It didn't blow me away. This one. I'll pour some right now. I'll validate that thought. I'm almost out. That's why I need to buy a bottle of it. Absolutely blew me away. Chris says he thinks they just got them at Costco. Hey, how late is Costco open? Let me Google it. Yeah, it is a blend of 8 different states. Now, of course, I'm sure that some of those are a lot smaller amounts. Adam says it's on the shelf already. Y'all, come back to this video. If y'all buy it, come back to this video. If you watched this and it made you buy it, please leave a comment down below what you thought of it. Did it blow your mind, or am I just freaking crazy? Because I don't know what they did this year, but it just works so well. And if y'all noticed, those of y'all that were watching Perry's stream earlier, he mentioned this bottle, and I was like, yeah, I really wish they would have sent me a full-size bottle. That was a subtle gesture at the fact that this is my #1 whiskey of the year. They don't have to. I will be buying another bottle of it. I really, really like it. All right. So, yeah. What do y'all think? Are y'all happy with the list or not? I'm really impressed by this. It's just such an incredible pour. Gosh, it takes you on a journey. You take the sip, it's bold up front with that high proof. Mid palate, it kind of mellows out a little bit, kind of goes a little more traditional. A little bit of like a caramel, or even like the peanut butter kind of note, maybe a little praline. And then at the end, it kind of ramps back up. It gets sweet on the end, kind of like a sweet cinnamon kind of thing on the end. Oh my gosh. Fantastic pour. Well, Patrick, you missed my intro, but my intro was, this is based on bottles I was able to get my hands on this year. So I unfortunately did not have any BTAC from 2022. I did get a bottle of the 2021 WLW, thanks to a lot of the patrons here tonight. However, that was last year's release, and I don't want to count that because that was last year's release. But I am very, very, very grateful for that bottle. Saving some for my 30th birthday in a few months. But anyways, I hope you guys had fun tonight. I hope you guys had a great year watching the channel. I'm sad that I can't be with you the next couple of weeks. I might do a random stream here and there. Make sure to follow me on Twitch as well. I have a Twitch channel where you can watch me do some gaming streams. I'll occasionally do like samples and gaming. I think I come like Sample Saturday streams on Twitch. I think I have a banner for that. Probably not. Let me just double check. No, I haven't done it in so long I don't even have a banner. But I do have this banner. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I do try to be active there. But most importantly, like and subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to come back for these streams as we go into the new year. But again, thank y'all so much for making this year so awesome. Y'all are the biggest. Y'all keep me doing this. Y'all patrons and just you that watch every week. Y'all make this possible. So thank you. I'm not going to go all PBS here, but I'm just saying y'all really do. So cheers to every single one of you. If I don't talk to you before the holidays, if you're not on Discord, I'll talk to you before the holidays. So check it out, bourbonbites.com. Seriously, I can actually drop a direct link. If y'all are lazy like me, y'all don't want to go find a link on a website. You're like, what? Go on a website to find a link? That's ludicrous. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna send y'all a special link. This one is just for you. Just kidding. It doesn't actually matter. But y'all, if y'all click this link before we go, please join the Discord server. It's such a fun community. I love hanging with y'all every single day. I see some people already there. I see Donnie and Donald Rance are already chatting in the freaking hangout room. Excuse y'all, we are still live. I'm just kidding. But let me send y'all a link, just a little direct link for you guys that if you ever considered joining. Let me drop that in the chat. Here we go. So check the chat right here. That's a direct link to the Discord server. Hope to see some of y'all there. Of course, patrons get access to the VIP rooms, which we're about to go hang out in the after party hangout for the Bourbon Begamites. I like that. It's like Vegemite. All the Aussies better not hear me. Bourbon Megabytes and up. But for the rest of you, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Let me know your ranking down below. But until next time, this has been Bourbon Bites. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next year. Wow, it feels so early to be saying that, but just in general, I might be back. We'll see. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for supporting in 2022. Enjoy the whiskey and enjoy the company. Cheers.